Hello, magnificent ones. Tonight we are here to meet the man, the myth, the legend, Chef Dre of Dre's Island Flavor. And Flava. He's gonna tell us, a little bit about himself, what he does, and where he's, headed in the future. So, Dre, let the people know, man.
So
Let
yeah, my name is Andre. So go by Chef Dre. I'm the CEO of Dre's Island Flavor and also the, the head chef or the chief
the chief.
of the business, the brain of the business. And I got into cooking when I was a young man back in Jamaica with my grandma. So that's where the love started for cooking and getting into adult. You start finding yourself passionate about it more. You start creating your own recipe and you say, oh, that worked. It tastes good. So that's what got me into cooking. And I have a lot to offer when you come on to cooking. Just look out for me. There's a lot of trouble coming your way.
Love of trouble. Okay, so what do you like? Okay, what's your not something that you cook yourself, but what's something that like what's one Jamaican meal that you always enjoy other people cook for you?
One Jamaican meal. I don't really think I, I just like Jamaican food in general. Doesn't matter which one it is.
I think it's different for me because for me, because I'm Jamaican, there's certain things that you only eat breakfast time. There's certain things you only eat lunchtime, dinner. You only eat Sunday. so, so
That's true because back in the island, they break up the meal
yeah,
for the days of the week.
yes,
Like they always say, start the week off with a strong meal.
yep,
So Sunday, the meal is stronger
yeah.
than Monday. And Wednesday, they gave you a strong meal again. And for the rest of the week, they just.
Whatever happens, happens.
So it is true. And I never realized like that's hump day.
Yeah,
So that means you get to the hump, so they give you a strong
yeah.
meal
To get over
and
the hump,
to
yeah.
get over the hump. And I never realized that until I moved here and start communicate and start talking about it. So, but when you come on to Jamaican food, I enjoy all of it.
You know, you know what's funny? You said that your grandmother like inspired, like gave you your love of cooking. It's the same thing for me too, because for me, whenever she comes here, I never cook. Like she leaves, she always leaves, 3 months out of the year to go to Jamaica, and then she comes back, and I never have to worry about lunch, breakfast, or dinner. I leave work on my lunch break, and I just go over, and she just makes me food every single day. So like that's why I love cooking too, because even as when I was 4 years old, just whatever she was doing, I was doing it too, just cooking right next to her. And now, as an adult, I love cooking for my family too, because that's where I got my love of cooking. I'm not a chef. I just love cooking. I have to have fresh prepared meals every single day because of how spoiled I was and still am. I don't like going out to eat. I love eating home cooked meals.
But one thing about growing up in the island, it's like back then when I was growing up, cause I leave Jamaica when I was 16, so I'm 40 years old later on in the year. So I was at 24 years now. I left Jamaica, and back then you only have few people with microwaves, so they always cook fresh meal every day. So like when I was growing up, every day my grandma cooked. And one story, I don't eat pork
Yeah.
because my mom is a Seventh Day Adventist, and um, I grew up with my mom, but my grandma they go to Sunday church, and she eat pork and I don't eat pork. And I promise you, if my grandma cooking food and she gonna cook pork, she cook my food separate from her food.
Yeah.
So that's the love what she gave me when I was growing up, and it's so great to know that and see that and feel that, to know she put out all the effort. And if when my grandma cook breakfast and if I'm not there, she leave it when I get home from school. I
Yeah.
get my breakfast and I get my dinner.
Yeah.
I get both of I get both of them. It's just the natural love what she give when, man. And she's still alive right now. She's 97 this year.
Nice. you know, you know, so my son's a very picky eater, very very picky. But for some reason, whatever my grandmother cooks, he eats it.
It's just love.
He doesn't. He never like if I cook him something, he'll eat it too. But like we're the only two people that he's like that with. That he never fights if we cook something. And every time I see him eat something my grandmother makes, I see myself when I was 3 years old, just following her around. Just anytime she cooked something, I never questioned it. I just ate it. I just was happy eating it. There's so much, joy. I think food brings people together.
It does. And you know what inspired me while I'm growing up to see is like when my rest of family leave home, and cause we in the country part of Jamaica, and my family leave and go to Kingston, live into the city life. And when they come back to the country, and when my grandma cook and everybody eating, you always see that smile on their face. And while I'm growing up, I go like, why food brings so much smile to people? And that's what brought me closer to the kitchen, because I said, when people eat, they always smile. So when you prepare good meal, good food, people always gonna smile. And that's what I do when I cook. I always look for people to smile about it, good taste, good quality, and that's all I always think about. Because if I'm not gonna eat it, I will not serve it to no one.
You ever realize that, like you said, when people smile, that's a good sign, right? You ever realize when people are eating a food and it doesn't taste good, they can't hide that it doesn't taste good.
They face,
yeah,
the face react, and when it's good, they
can't control. Yeah,
they you could tell when it's not good.
Yeah,
you see everyone's face just drop.
Yeah,
when it's good, they don't stop talking, smiling, and it's just like when we go to a restaurant here and the food is good, it put that smile on your face. But when the food, you enjoy, it's okay.
Yeah, it makes the mood.
Yeah,
it makes the mood. Because then when you go, you go to, say you get steak or something, they're like, yeah, the steak. Then that leads to everybody just talking about bad conversation, nothing positive, because the food wasn't good.
So food is food will food will bring you closer to a person. Like if you find a woman and a woman could cook,
yeah,
that's a icing on the cake. Just like when a woman find a man and a man could cook, it's a icing on the cake too.
Yeah.
So food is just it's one of the best thing on earth, because we can't live without it.
Now, for you, do you like that you know how to cook because it doesn't put pressure on somebody else to cook? Or do you want someone else to cook too, that way it doesn't put pressure on you to cook?
I always said, if I get home first, I cook. If she get home first, she cook. Because I would not want to just leave the pressure on her to cook. I don't want her to leave the pressure on me to cook.
Yeah. But
if we both get home at the same time, we both just knock it out together.
I was going to say just rock, paper, scissors.
Nah, but it's good, man, because when you're in the kitchen and you're cooking with your wife or your girlfriend, you bunks on one another. That feel good.
Yeah.
Because you're rubbing on her.
Yeah.
So It's just a good feeling.
So, are you planning on having a girlfriend soon, or do you have a girlfriend? Like, what's going on in your life? If you don't want to talk about it, it's also okay too.
I don't want to talk about that in my life. I'm not going to touch that topic. Leave it.
All right, you're just talking about bouncing around and cooking. So what okay. So you have any special events coming up that you're gonna do, host or participate in?
Oh, yes. I have one of the biggest events for 2023 in Orlando this year.
All right.
And this event is special to me because it is about mom. And a lot of people think is because it's about mom, it's you have to be a mother to be there. You don't have to be a mother to
Exactly.
be there because in some place in somebody's life, you are a mom.
Yeah.
They look up to you as a mom.
Yeah.
So this event is Dre's Island Flavor Mother's Day celebration. So I want you to celebrate that special person in your life. But why I call it Mother's Day celebration because it's happening right around Mother's Day.
Mhm.
So I just call it that. But basically, I want to celebrate that special person in your life that day. And why I came up with this event is when I go to the restaurant, when I was married, and I used to take my ex out for any Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, or anytime, like any celebration days like that. Because you don't want to cook at home. You
Yeah.
want to celebrate
That's
them.
true.
And when I used to go out, it's like you leave the house, you spend 2 hours on the street,
Mhm.
but you sit outside for like 45 minutes waiting up to when you make a reservation.
Yeah.
You spend 45 minutes waiting before you get seated in the restaurant. And when you do get seated in the restaurant, the food come out, the food is crap.
Yeah.
You don't feel no love when you're eating it. So I said to myself, why complain about it? Just do something about it.
You drink first before you eat.
So I'm doing something about it now. So I came up with this Mother's Day celebration because of I want you to bring your mom out, bring that special person to you out that night and celebrate them. And you don't have to wait in line. You gotta wait in line because everyone's gonna come in, but your seat gonna be there. You're gonna get a 3-course meal. It's gonna be a start, um, uh, um,
Appetizer,
a
entree.
main meal, an entree, and an appetizer. So you're gonna get 3-course meal, and also you're gonna get wine, drinks, water, and I also had a bonus in it. When you buy a ticket, you enter a raffle to win a 2 trip. What 4 night, 4 day, 3 nights in Jamaica here for your ticket
Okay.
to Montego Bay. So that's all on me because
So where is it gonna be?
it's gonna be in Maitland. Is at the Greek Orthodox Church in Maitland,
Okay.
and Friday, May 12th. Doors open at 6. I'm very excited for this because it's something special for me,
Mm-hmm.
and all the thoughts is going. I'm the one who's doing everything. That's how much I'm passionate about it. I don't hire no one to do it. I'm the one who's doing everything, hands on, putting the flyers together, put the banners together, and the whole the course meal. I'm the one who cooking it. I'm gonna have chefs with me, but everything got approved by me first.
Yeah.
That's the most exciting thing too, man. Like everything got approved by you
Yeah.
before it go out.
What let me we're talking about food, but you have a business still. It's still a business, right? It's just a
Yes.
business that brings people together. What do you think that you had a good support system when you were starting out?
My business, yes, I do. because my business, I, al- I could scale more long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
but when I go through my divorce, it hit me hard.
Yeah.
So I scaled back because really and truly, when I was going through my divorce, I got out the kitchen for at least 3 years. I wasn't cooking like that. I wasn't doing nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
I cause really, I was more depressed about the thing. So it took me a few years to get over it. Now I'm over it. I'm back. And I think what happened when it knocked me out of it, it let me go back and reconstruct my business all over.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I launch back over, my business is totally different from what it was before. So the Lord know what he was doing when that happened to me.
I was watching something the other day, and it said, when you get knocked down, that's the moment that you should laugh, because that's because you're naturally going to get back up. And when you get back up, in order for you to get up, it means that it required strength for you to get up.
It do because what I always said to myself, I always said, God never put a food on your table
Mm-hmm.
if you do not know you couldn't angle it.
Mm.
That's the way I always said. If you know you cannot eat it, he would not put it on your table.
Yeah.
So when you go through certain things in life, it's a reason why God let you go through it at that moment,
Mm-hmm.
a time. And my faith with Christ grew stronger when I was going through my divorce, because I didn't go to my friends them to talk about it. I just deal with it the best I can. My mom, my dad, my brothers. I just That's when I just know I deal with it with just Christ, and it's crazy. Like you're talking to somebody, but you're not getting a response right away.
Yeah.
It is weird, but that just draw me closer to Him, and everything I do, I put my faith in Him. And okay, like my event.
Mm-hmm.
My event was coming up. I always say I want to do it, but I didn't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Greek Orthodox Church, I'm working with them as a vendor
Mm-hmm.
now. And I walk in there, and when I'm leaving the place, it just hit me and go like, why just don't do an event? And I just call them back and I said, hey, do you guys have this date open? I was trying to do it on this Saturday. And they said, no, we already got that date booked. I said, what about the Friday? They said, yes. I said, lock me in for that date. I didn't have nothing planned. I didn't know how I'm going to do it yet.
What you were gonna do?
I just said, lock the date in. And they just said, oh, we're going to send you the payment over. I said, email it over. And I just signed it. And I didn't know what I'm going to do yet.
Man, that's great.
And while I'm doing it, everything just come together.
Yeah.
Like first, when I start off, I said, I'm just going to make it a regular Mother's Day dinner. Now I change it to red carpet. I'm doing all of these things. And I have a live band. I have a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Like, while every day I get up, I come up with a different idea and I add it to it.
Isn't it funny how when you it's like a crunch time, right? Because now you paid the money, you have the spot. Now you have to make sure that you get it done now. But if you already had the spot, maybe you wouldn't have that same sense of urgency, because you're like, I'm just going to do a Mother's Day event.
Yes.
But then it forces you to be more creative and give people an experience.
And it's going to be an experience for everybody and myself too, because I never do something like this before.
Yeah.
And really and truly, nothing like this happening in Orlando.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever do any of the Caribbean festivals or anything?
I did one time and it rained out, And I said, God said I'm not supposed to be there, so I'm not going back to no more.
So I've been in America for 19 years, right? And I've only been to one Caribbean event, like the entire time I've been here. Just one. And that was probably the most money I've ever spent on any one day because you have like all these. First of all, I've never seen that many Jamaican people in one place in Claremont before. I didn't even know they all lived here. And it's like every a lot of the people are cooking the same things, but because it's different people, you want to try
Different.
like they're like, oh well, I put this in my oxtail, or whatever. And then you're like, okay, $10, $10, $10, $10, $10. You don't realize that now you're up to like $300, and you're getting drinks at the same time. So that's probably, like I said, the one time I went there. But that was great to see, not a restaurant, but just people, cooking. Because it's like you could go to a restaurant and you eat, but you don't feel like home. But then when you eat from like some people, you feel like, man, we're like family. Like I feel like I'm at home.
I never been to the one in Claremont, but I went to the one in Orlando.
That's too big for me.
I did, and I was a vendor there, and I promise you, it's like it's. I rent the spot. I went in there, and I only break even.
Yeah,
because it started raining. Like any rain would not lit up. So I never went back to any. I don't even know how long that was. I never went back.
Should have done it in Claremont.
The one in Claremont, I always think is too small.
But here's the thing. It's smaller. I go to a lot of the events that they have in downtown Claremont, and it's small, but then it becomes like a football game.
But it's more intimate too.
Yeah. It's like even there, like around thousands of people, you're just talking. Everyone, you meet so many different people,
so many different culture, man.
Yeah, and it's always great when. I think that's the beautiful thing about America too, because you get to experience other people's culture, like other people's food, and then you see how like a lot of the cultures they rub off on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, if you're Jamaican, you're all, or if you're from anywhere in the Caribbean, Jamaican, Trinidad, Guyanese. England ruled everything, so we all eat curry. We all eat roti.
But the thing about it though, we in Jamaica, our strongest thing in Jamaica is jerk chicken.
Mm-hmm. True.
I think we are the only island what do jerk chicken.
Yeah.
Everyone try to copy it now, but it start there.
Yeah.
Like our number one dish in Jamaica is ackee and saltfish.
As ackee only grows there.
And a lot of people, they don't know that.
Yeah.
I like when you tell people, oh, that's the national dish. They go like, huh? How can that be a national dish?
Because it only grows there.
That's only place it is. So that's why they make it the national dish. And I have some of the best jerk chicken in Central Florida.
So
that's no joke.
Jerk chicken is probably the only thing I never buy from anybody.
I don't buy it.
You know what? Buy, cook, whatever. Like that's the one it never comes to my mind. Unless like I go to my mom's house because my mom has jerk chicken all the time. I forget that it even exists.
But that's what I get, and I start mimic around,
mm-hmm.
and I start twisting it all around, and then now I also have a boneless jerk chicken now too. And people ask me, how can you use the chicken breast and get it into bone and get it into jerk chicken and it's not dry? I said, it's just my hands. It's just my hands.
So here's something funny. So when I first came to America, I remembered the first. Okay, when I first came to America, the first pizza I ever had was Papa John's, right? And the first junk food place I ever went to was Chick-fil-A. And the first grocery store that I ever shopped at was Publix. There's like the three, and I remember it because it's the three places that my first week here that I went to, and I always just go to those places because that's my first experience to a lot of things, right? Now, fast forward 19 years later, I still eat Papa John's pizza, still eat Chick-fil-A, right? But when it comes like going back to the jerk chicken thing, the moment I came here, it's like jerk chicken just never existed in my head anymore because they always say barbecue this, barbecue that. And then same time, okay, like Papa John's pizza, love it. Chick-fil-A, love it. I went to some restaurant and they had like boneless chicken wings. And I'm like, well, how can this be a boneless like chicken wing? They're like, it's boneless chicken wing. I'm like, no, it's just chicken breast that they cubed up and and put breading on. And everyone just always says it's chicken wings. I'm like, why is it that they call it chicken wings when it's just boneless?
Because to me, it's to call it what it is. You're just trying to fool the world.
Yeah. It's like a boneless chicken breast. Well, if it's boneless chicken wings. If it was boneless chicken wings, you'd still see it looking like a wing, but it's just chicken breast that they dice up.
I never have it, so I never know what they look like.
Yeah. That's like something that always like bothered me. So I was like, nope, bone in, please.
I never look. I know. No, you tell me it's chicken breast. I never know what it look like.
Yeah, it's just
because to me, how can you get the wings to be boneless?
Exactly.
So it never thought to my mind to say, "Oh, go try it."
Yeah.
Never. So I don't even want to waste my time with that.
It's like, but it's funny how like in America, when it comes to food, how marketing is everything, right? Like people can sell you something in America, especially food, and they'll tell you that like it's not what you're eating, right? Okay, cheese, for example. If you look at some cheeses like Kraft cheese, it'll just say, some of them will just say Kraft, but it won't say cheese, because in order for it to be cheese, it has to be 50% or more cheese. So even if it's 50%, what's the other stuff that's in it?
People don't know cheese is one of the worst thing out there.
Why is that?
Because there's no more real cheese. There's no more. It's like everything have so much. I'm a chef. I eat these things, but I'm scared for my own self.
See, I'm lactose intolerant.
So you don't have to worry about it. And, you can't tell your kids, this is not cheese.
Yeah.
Because in their mind, they say it's cheese.
Yeah. It says it. Isn't that crazy, though? Because, like, people will just look at, like, the label of something, just like you said, with their kids. You're like, it says cheese on here, Dad. But you know that there's fillers and, whatever else in it.
You know what? One of the biggest thing what bother me as a chef is these stocks what they sell in the store.
I'll let you make your point, so I can see if we're going to talk about the same thing, because I'm going to make a joke about that.
These stocks what they sell in the store, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Man. How can you telling me these beef stocks and all of these things could last for months, and the sodium what they have in it is like 20 something percent per cup and all of that? That's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
It is strictly lie. The sodium in it is so high for you to keep it. It's not refrigerated. It is not. What do you have in it
that's keeping it
to keep it that long? And that's one of them. And I don't use those things.
So okay, all right, I'm not a chef, but correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I always think when I look at stock, like beef stock, chicken stock, whatever, or even broth. For me, I've always been, why would I need broth to make soup if I'm gonna put chicken in the you get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
because that's what the broth is, right? So why would I need chicken broth if I'm gonna cook with chicken?
Because in this country and where we're from is totally different. Where we're from, we use water.
Yeah.
In this country, they program them to use chicken broth, beef broth, veggie broth. So it's just a program. But as what you said, why are you gonna cook chicken and add chicken stock to it when you could just add water and water give it the chicken stock?
Yeah, that's something I've never understood. Like, because one of the things that when I was, this is like the crazy story of when I first came here. I remember I was eating stuff, but then I started feeling weird. So my blood pressure when I came here, like my blood pressure went like way up because I went from always having home cooked meals every single day. So 3 meals a day, all home cooked. And I didn't even have junk food. So like I never grew up like eating junk food either. So like my blood pressure was always perfect. And I went to go play soccer. And it was like I was gonna have a heart attack. And I always worked out, but it was just that I was eating so much sodium and I didn't even know it.
It's those things got so much sodium in it is ridiculous, and they're lying to us when they put it on there. I never like when they have them buy one get one free in Publix and all of those things. I don't buy those things. I always believe enough adding my own sodium to it
Mm,
and get your own flavor.
yeah.
Because if I have the seasoning, why should I go buy beef broth? So that's never something what entice me to do. And I make like a broccoli and cheddar soup, and I do everything from scratch. The only thing I can make from scratch
Is
is
the broccoli.
is the half and half.
I was gonna say the broccoli.
The half and half, and the heavy cream and all that thing. You can't get those things from, you still got to put the imitation cheese in it, what they call cheese. But when you do those cheese though, and you grate your own cheese, to me, you get a better cheese than what you get when you buy the cheese in the bag.
Yeah.
When you grate your own cheese.
I mean, I could see that too because there's not a lot of air in it because it's solid. So, in your experience so far, what's the best? I shouldn't say best. What is your signature meal? Whether it's for your business or for yourself, like what's your signature meal? Like it doesn't have to be your favorite, but like your signature meal that like at any given occasion, no matter where you are, like this is your go-to thing or could be your go-to meal.
You're talking about cooking or eating?
Um, let's go with cooking and then we can talk about eating. So for cooking, what could be your go-to meal for any occasion?
Right now, I got so many. I do. I have so many different go-to meal now. Like my easiest thing, I could cook a piece of salmon,
Yeah.
and I always have boneless snapper.
See, I stopped eating salmon. I've eaten so much of it over my life. I just don't want to eat salmon anymore.
And I do so many things with salmon. So I make salmon bites. I make stuffed salmon. I make so many different things with salmon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't stop. I don't eat it that much anymore, but if I is one of my easiest meal for me to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would take me like 20 minutes for me to get a whole meal with a salmon there.
Yeah. Now, do you still like do you would you meal prep them before? So you season them up in different things.
I never do that, man. Why? Because I go by what I feel to eat that day.
You know, I'm one of those people that can eat the same thing every single day and never get bored.
I can, but you have to be fresh every day.
Yeah, it will be fresh every day.
I can't.
But
I can't eat it. I can't eat. I can't cook today and eat the same thing for the rest of the week. If I cook it tonight and I have some tomorrow, that's it. If I have a half of the pot, if half of the pot will go in the trash. I cannot eat no more.
so okay. I'm happy you said that. You know, one of the things that I'm guilty of now that like, okay, so I've been in America 19 years. You've been here 24 years, right?
Yes.
24 years, right? You know, in Jamaica, I never went to bed hungry or anything like that. But I knew people who did go to bed hungry, and people always tell you, growing up, don't waste food, don't waste food, don't waste food. Like you just grow up hearing that, like you're programmed to not waste food. So I was shocked when I realized that if I didn't want something, I just threw it away, and I wouldn't even think twice about it. I think that's
because it's now it's like second nature.
Yeah, I don't even know when I started doing that. Like just
I'm not lying. I'm one of the most person who waste food like there is no other, because I don't know how to cook for one person.
Yeah.
I don't know how to cook for two people. Because I'm always I'm always thinking when I'm cooking somebody gonna stop by.
Yeah.
Always in the back of my head, because I don't know if when you was growing up back in the island, they always said cook an extra plate.
Yes. Yep.
And I always think about cook an extra plate.
So when you say that, so like my wife, she always gets on me. She's like, "Yo, you make people's portions way too big." I'm like, it's not that it's too big. It's just I want them to know. Like I don't want to seem like I'm being stingy. If I cook and I'm inviting someone over, like I want them to have abundance. But if they want to throw it away, they can throw it away. But like certain things, if someone were to cook you a meal and you look at your plate and you can count the rice grains on your plate, it would, turn your mind off of it. So I want when someone, eats something that I make, that they're like, man, like this person really took the time to make sure that I had enough.
It's one of those things where if I'm giving you food, I'm giving you good food.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna portion control it and said, oh, when I'm home, there's no go help yourself. Eat.
Yeah.
So food, I don't know. I can't explain what food is one of the greatest thing on earth. And then women follow after.
That's funny. So where do you see yourself, like your business in the next 5 years, or what do you want for your business in the next 5 years or so? What are your goals?
That's a great question. And my goal is to change the way how people look at my culture when it comes on to food. What I do fusion.
Mm-hmm.
I use the American food and I get the Jamaican flavor out of it.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm going big. You know they say go big or go home?
Yeah.
I'm going big. So my goal is to have a 5-star restaurant in Orlando with the island flavor / the American cuisine with it.
Yeah.
The first one, because there's not one of them in Central Florida. I don't want to be the first one to do that. And that is my goal. That is my drive. And I think the only person who could stop me is me. And I'm going big. And I'm not going home. So 5 years from now, I want to have at least my first location out there
Mm-hmm.
and start branching them off in Central Florida. Because I just don't want to have one spot. I want to have at least two or multiple spots.
So I know for a fact that you know this business, so we're not going to mention their name because we know. I'm pretty sure we both know the former owners of this business, right? So they had multiple locations, and then they got the divorce. You know what I'm saying? And so the wife got half the locations, and the husband got the other half of the locations.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
It took me a minute for me to dawn on me. Yes, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. And when you go to both, it's like they're both so different now.
Night and
day difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, they're both doing extremely well, but they're doing extremely well in different ways.
Yes, and I haven't really and truly. If you ever see me into a Caribbean restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
I only go in there for beef patty.
Yeah.
So I only go to one.
Mm-hmm.
And I only go to one Caribbean restaurant, and that's Golden Crest.
Mm. Why Golden Crest?
Because to me, they have the best patty. That's the closest you could get to patty here and what's in the island.
See, I never get that here. I never. You ever notice? I mean, of course, you probably noticed. I remember when I first got here, there's certain foods that I would try, and I knew for a fact it wasn't the same. The same thing. It's like the ingredients weren't the same. Like maybe you used flour here, now you're using cornmeal or something, and because it's so different, and you're not at home, so you can't go and run to the store and get that thing. Now you have to buy it here, and the ingredients are completely different. And that just turned my palate away from so many things that I used to eat when I was back home.
Like patty is my. I don't have it a lot. I have it like if I just feel like get it, I just get just.
Yeah.
That's the only place I will go get it. So like KFC over here
Uh
is garbage
huh.
compared to the island. So it's one of those things where you still have to eat though, man. And patty is one of them where they call it a lazy meal,
Mm.
and it tastes good.
Yeah, still, yeah. I just the only time I've ever in the last like 20 years, I guess, I felt like I had a real patties was because I went back home. Like I've never.
That's don't get me wrong. There's none of them over here could beat that.
Yeah. Or I've had people go and then they bring back some for me.
Yes. If I go to Jamaica and I'm coming back, I have to come back with my patty.
How often do you go back?
I try to go to Jamaica twice a year,
Mm-hmm.
and I have my reason why. Because my grandma is getting older,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to lay my eyes on her. Although I see her on phone,
Mm-hmm.
I still want to lay my eyes on her, give her a hug,
Yeah.
and all of that. So I try to go back home twice a year to go see her.
Yeah, I've only been back once.
But before I start going back, it took me 16 years to go back. And from I went back one time, I keep on going back. When COVID happened, man, it destroyed my life. Like I could have go back to go see, and soon as they said, "Oh, you could start flying back," I buy a ticket, and I even know how expensive a ticket was. I just booked my ticket, go home, go see my grandma.
Yeah, I think because my grandmother, came here.
And that's why it never enticed me to go back home, because my grandma used to come here every year.
Mm-hmm.
And for the 16 years, she was coming here. So I didn't, didn't have no one to go back there for.
Exactly.
But now she's not traveling like that anymore. So it's my turn now to start going back to go see her. So my mom, my aunt, and myself, we try to go down.
Same time.
Not the same time, like in different
Oh, okay. Parts of the year.
parts of the year. Sometimes we make plans and all of us meet up, and we have fun when we do that too. Like the last time we all was there, I think when she turned 95, everybody was there. That's what 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody was there to celebrate her, and it was good. It was a good time, man. It was a great time. My kids want to go back now to go see her now too. So I have to hurry up and get their passport too.
I guess I think that when in a couple of years, I'll probably want to go back then. It's almost like this. Like I've spent so much of like my life there that like now, like I want to see other parts of the world. I want to see like as much of America, as I can, because America is so big and everywhere is so different in America. I need to, because I live here. I need to see everywhere here. Just like when I was living in Jamaica, I got to see everywhere there. You know what I mean? And
But Oakley, it is scary. It is funny, bro. There is no place like Jamaica in the world. Though.
yeah,
It is. It's a small little island, but it is nice when you go there.
yeah,
And you have fun. You have like, for me, people who say they buy a ticket to go to New York,
mm-hmm.
I'll buy a ticket to go anywhere in the island before I go to New York.
Yeah.
I have few spots in America where I want to go to,
mm-hmm.
but I'm sorry, the 50 states is not one of them.
Yeah, like for me, see, I love it because I love food, and I love. Okay, so I remember the first time I went to Georgia. Right, went to Georgia, and like I had barbecue in Florida, but then you go to like some like really really country in the woods place, and that's when I had barbecue for the first time. You know what I mean? Like it's like it was real.
Because you know why? If it was in the country, they did not use charcoal; they used the wood.
Yeah.
So when you use the wood to cook, it give you a different flavor than when you use the charcoal. It's just like when you use a gas stove to cook than when you use electric stove.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally different. That's why in the restaurant industry, we do not use gas stove. We do not use electric stove to cook. We use everything is gas because it gives the food a better taste, a better texture than the electric stove. And like if you say you're gonna turn something into, say you have your home and turn your home into a whole restaurant, you have to get that tank hooked up with the gas before the state will pass it.
Mm. Now, so for right now, so you vendor, is that what you do now, or
I do catering.
Okay. So when you're doing catering, do you prefer to do catering now because you don't have to pay like rent for, how what I mean, for like hosting an event?
Not that. Why I'm doing catering, right? Is I don't want to go get a storefront.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people do not know who's Dre's Island Flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing when I'm doing catering, I'm building my clientele. Now, when I get to the store level, I don't have to go look for the clientele. They already know who I am. They're going to follow me.
And they still have the option of getting catered to.
And they're still going to have the option of getting catered. And now I also do couple events. Like if you have your wife and you want your birthday party and say, you might in the doghouse, you're trying to get out the doghouse, you could call me and make a special meal when your wife get home from work. I just set the mood and I just leave. That's my job, to get you at the doghouse.
All right, I'll hit you up on August 2nd.
Okay.
You know what the craziest thing is? I have yet to get the birthday thing right. And I've never forgotten my wife's birthday, but I've never. For me, for my birthday, I never needed a party or anything crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to stay home and watch Rocky in my bed. Yeah, and just,
Relax with the family.
No. I want to be by myself.
Oh crap!
That's like my perfect day is for my birthday. It's like reflecting for me, and I would like to reflect just me in my own headspace,
in your zone,
in my zone, right? And not that I've ever like tried to like do the same thing with her. It's just that she's very much party. Like you have to have a party. You know, you have to like do that, and so it's always hard because even when I try to do the party, I'm like, all right, it's 4 people. Or it's 6 people. She goes, why didn't you tell this person, tell this person, tell this person? And in my head, I'm like, I didn't think about any of those people. I didn't know you guys were friends like that. So I've never successfully done her birthday right. I've always done something wrong for the past 8 years.
Just call me, and
right.
I will. I will come up with something for you. We could just plan something, man.
You know,
just call me.
Honestly, like I might just do that. That way, I'm the one that cooked it.
Yeah. Man, what I notice in this country though, when it come out to birthday and all of these things, it is a big, big thing, man.
Yeah.
Because as what you said, you never do a birthday party. I'm about to turn 40. I never have a day where everyone is there to celebrate me.
Yeah.
So this Mother's Day thing I'm doing,
mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to be there to celebrate my event.
Yeah.
That is my birthday.
Yeah.
It's 2 months before my birthday, as a matter of fact. So that is my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a great feeling to know, like, I came up with an event and it's going to happen. So that's my birthday.
For me,
I never celebrate my birthday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I never, really celebrate because to me, it's a day. Yes, I was born on that day, but what makes the day special for me is if I know you could turn 40, 50, 60, 70. It doesn't mean that you grew as a person. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Because number wise, yes, you got older, but it doesn't mean you grew as a person. Like, are you a better person than you were than you were as 5 years ago? Or are you the same person you were 5 years ago? So
some people don't change. That's true. Some people don't change, but I don't look at it that way. I look at it because I never grew up that way.
Yeah.
Because in the island, I don't think people celebrate it, but not as the way they do it here in the state. So that is why I didn't really celebrate it, because I never know of it like that.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why I never like celebrating my birthday is because I had to share a birthday with somebody else too.
Who you share a birthday with?
With a cousin. You know when you share a birthday with a cousin, so your parties have to be combined?
Oh yeah, because especially if they live in the same house or live in the same community.
Yes.
So that's what. So that's not a special day then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was always just so annoying because we always cut the cake together, like everything together.
We're not a couple.
Yeah, I'm like, I just want my own cake.
Okay, mine is different then. Mine is just me, but my parents have never celebrate my birthday.
Yeah.
So that's why I never celebrate my birthday. But this year, I want to celebrate my birthday. You only turn 40 once, man, so I think I want to celebrate it this year.
Yeah, it's crazy. You turn 40, in 4 days, I turn 30 in 4 days.
So let me ask you then,
Uh-huh.
the podcast. What I know you for so long. I don't even know how long I know you. I know it's over 10 years and more
Yeah.
now.
Uh-huh.
And every time I talk to you, every time we reason, it's like your mind doing something else. So what got you to doing podcasts?
So the podcast, honestly, the podcast is something that, I was trying to do for like 5 years now, right? So one of the things that I did, so all of the things that I have in the podcast, I'm not actually using all of the stuff that I was going to do. I just decided to do it completely different because when I researched stuff like before, I already like everything was already planned out. All of the interviews were already planned out. The things I want to talk about was planned out, and like I said, 5 years ago. So then, what I didn't want was for me to say anything, and it was like because of politics, like everybody is just so crazy. You can't make everybody happy, but I never wanted to just deal with any of that nonsense, especially because of where I work and stuff, and because of where I was going to school too. Not that I believe in anything crazy. It's just that whenever you talk about politics, some people are going to be happy, some people are going to be angry, and I just didn't want to have to deal with that at all. So that's why I just completely changed the topics and just talked about like just people, you know, love. I have an episode that's going to come out. It's about how money works. So I just want to talk about life, and I'm reflecting. I decided to do it like that so I can reflect when I'm talking to people. I'm reflecting. Um, but the thing that got me to the podcast itself was just like how when you're cooking, that you're in your zone, you're doing your thing. For me, the podcast is my zone because I'm always learning something.
Okay, but as what you said, because when I met you
Mm-hmm.
years ago, you said you want to go into the politics, and the same thing I asked you, are you crazy? And now you kind of drift away from that life, and in a way, I'm happy you did that
Yeah.
because, as what you said, you're gonna make people mad. You're gonna make people agree with you. So I'm happy you do that and just be neutral
Yep.
because the way you feel might not the way I feel about that
Mm-hmm.
same person
Mm-hmm.
as politics. So on your podcast now, you could just do the way you feel,
Yeah.
and people will next to it.
Yeah.
Then, oh, I'm not going to listen to his podcast anymore because
Yeah.
he's talking about politics. He's
Yeah.
talking about this. He's talking about that. And when you're going in business, because you might not see it as a business yet, but it is a business,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to treat it as a business.
Exactly.
And it is. I listen to like at least four of your things you put out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I love them. I do, and I love them because it's a different part of you.
Uh-huh.
I know it's there, and I'm seeing it now.
Yeah.
I always think about that when I see you, and when I hear them coming out of you now.
Yeah.
It's I'm smiling inside of me. I'm going like, that is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear no politics from this man. So
you say here's the number the event that made me not do it. True story. One of my friends, like my oldest friends since I've been in America, and he's from another country too. And that's like one of the craziest thing too. Like a lot of my friends in America are all like most of them are from different countries. So like whether it's like Scotland, Mexico, Russia, everyone has always been like from somewhere else. So I've never really had like a large amount of American friends. Always had a large amount of like international friends. anyways, I went to and because again everybody's from different countries, everyone believes in different things. So I never really talked about whatever I believed in, whether it be religion or politics. I never really talked about it with people like that. But I went to the movies with one of my friends, and we've been friends. He knows what I believe in. Went to go see the Joker, and immediately after the movie was done, he started comparing the movie to real life, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool or whatever, because the movies reflect real life. He thought that this one person was a bad guy in the movie, and I was like, I don't think that person's a bad guy in the movie. I was like, I think this person's. I would react the same way in real life. And then this is a movie now, right? And he goes, how could you say that? How could you believe in something like that? I'm like, it's a movie. It's a movie. And he was turning this movie into reality, right? The politics of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, man, I can't even enjoy a movie without it being a political thing. Like, I just want to watch a movie, with my best friend or whatever. And he's like, so you don't really believe this or whatever? I'm like, it's a movie. And we got into a big argument about a movie. And I didn't realize how crazy it was, because of course on when you go on Facebook, you'd see people fight over politics. I mean, you have like brothers and sisters or whatever, or husband and wives or whatever, like divorcing because of politics. I didn't realize how how it just poisoned like people. So I was like, nope. I was like, after that night, we never talked again after that.
Oh, you guys haven't speak after that?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I just thought that was, because for me, I never took it personally. And to him, it turned that into like I didn't care about a lot of things or something. But for me, it's a movie. The movie, it's my opinion of the movie. It's not my opinion on life.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't know how to just separate and feelings out of things sometimes. It's if it's a movie, that's just how I feel about the movie. But politics is a lot of people's life now. Like it's almost like their religion. On either side, it's like they have to find something new to believe in.
But I'm happy you changed your course from that though.
Yeah.
Because as what you said, I didn't know it was that crazy out there about it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy you didn't choose that route though.
Yeah, I am too.
Your podcast though, you know, I know you work your full-time job and you got your wife, you got your kids, but one thing I could say though, as me as a business person into doing my home business, you have to keep, when you're tired, you still have to do it.
Exactly.
Because for me now, I still work a full-time job and I still do catering. Like, it's crazy, bro. Sometimes I go to work 3 a.m., get off back by 11, and as soon as I get off, I load up and go get ready for an event.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be finishing the event at 9, 10 o'clock at night. So look how long I've been up.
Yeah.
And you get home by 12, you lay back down, you get back up by 5.
Yeah.
So you work, in that one day, you work more than the way you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not lying. One weekend, I only slept for the 4 hours for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Because I prep, I do everything, and then you gotta load up, go cook, load up back, go drop off, set up, share. Then by you get back home, you gotta go back. 5 hours later, you gotta be back up, take a shower, back into the job.
Mm-hmm.
Do 8 hours, 9 hours, come back home, you gotta prep again for another event a couple of days out. And these are the things where I have to do it, because for right now I'm working a full-time job, but I want to leave my full-time job by next year and do catering full-time,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm working my full-time job now part-time and just do my catering full-time. And that is my goal. And that's why I just put my head down and work. I don't call nobody. I don't complain to nobody about it, because I just don't want a lot of people. You will tell them your vision, but they don't really see your vision.
Exactly.
So all they got to do is just put your head down and go to work. And when they see the result, they will understand what you was doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because I never really tell anyone like what I'm doing. I'm always doing a lot of things because I have to stay busy. Like I'm like my mind can never be calm because there's to me there's always so much to do. So I volunteer. So on Mondays I volunteer. So like my week, I'm always doing something. Like every single day of the week, I have to do something. Like for me, the podcast, that is a break for me. Like it may not seem like it. Whether when I'm doing research on something, that's fun for me. But I like like me and my friend, we actually own a publishing business, right? I never announced it or anything like that. And it's funny, like, because me and him did everything, like we had like from scratch. And how it even came to be was this. When I was in college, there was a speaker at the college. This guy was just so full of crap, dude. Like he was just one of those people that gets paid to speak. He makes good money, but then he's one of those people that tries to make kids feel bad. Like they feel like they suck or something. Just because he has money. Like he wants fan people to praise him or something. And I didn't like that. So when he was speaking, I learned. He explained that he teaches as well. And he was bragging that he had this number one best selling book. And I was gonna raise my hand and said, well, your book is number one because you force your kids to buy your book. Because I went on, I went online, looked him up, looked at his books, and his personal book that he wrote, he had like his students it was required that they had to buy his book. So of course he's had a number one, best selling book when his kids have to buy, his students had to buy his book. So I knew all the information, and stuff. I was like, no one has to pay, $200 for his book. His textbook was $200. So I just made my own book, same information because I already knew all the information, and I just gave it away for free online because it wasn't going to cost me anything. Did the ebook, and I just did it for free, just so he would be number one. That's the only reason why. Just the people just stopped buying his book, and I became number one. And after that, anything that I did after that, I just didn't use my name anymore. I still I'm getting ready to release a book right now, and that's not in my name. And I love that. I love the process of doing those things.
So you're the one who edit your book. You're the one who do everything.
Um, sometimes I edit my book, but for most of the things that I do it myself, or I have freelance people that just will do different parts of it. So one person will design the book cover,
Mm-hmm.
and then one person will do the book formatting to make sure that everything lines up perfectly when it goes in. And basically, I take all of that, put it together in the computer, and then it all comes out as a book.
Okay.
But I have actual books though. So and I have audiobooks too, ebooks and books.
Oh, you have audiobooks too?
Mhm.
Is on Amazon?
Yeah.
What's the name of your book?
I don't advertise. Here's my reason for not advertising. I don't advertise because for me, it's not about the money. It's just the fact that I get to do it. And so
No, but
anyone who wants to if someone just happens to stumble on it and they buy it or whatever, that's cool. And if they don't, that's fine too.
so okay, if you spend all your time writing a book, right? Why don't advertise it? If you're that passionate about it, then write about it.
Well, that's not why. So here's the other component of it too is it whenever I write something, it's not for me, it's for everybody else.
Yeah, but if you don't tell me or tell your audience what's the name of your book, how are we going to stumble on your book?
No, that's the thing. That's what I like about it.
What
It's
what
like
what? You think we're going to pull it out of the sky and say, "Oh, I think this is Oakley book." No, you got to tell us, and we're going to go. Okay, I wonder if I like it. I wonder if I like your story, just like the way I like you.
see, that's the thing. I never.
All right, don't
Go,
worry.
go.
I'm just going to ask your wife what's the name of your book.
No, I mean I'll tell you the book, the book's names and stuff. I mean I have access. I could send you copies and stuff. Just read it and just leave an honest comment. If what you think about it, or if you want the audiobook too, you can have it and just say what you actually feel about it.
So okay, so different from your own story, what type of book you like to read?
I would say probably like 5 different kinds of books, and I like them the same. And I've always been this way. So my favorite, like one of my favorite books, I love reading about philosophy. Like
Back to politics.
no, not philosophy of politics, but just of life, right? Like
Okay.
how to, like how you handle certain situations, like how to make yourself a strong person.
Okay.
So I love philosophy of that, like the philosophy of not having a lot of attachments to things. So for me, I don't feel attached to a lot of things. So even the things that like I have, or the only thing that I feel attached to is the people I love, and that's it. Like I don't a house, a car, like none of those things. It doesn't make me feel anything. To me, my car, like money, 401k, it's all just a tool. And the reason why I feel that way is because, and maybe you can relate too, is that I was explaining this to someone, and this is actually in one of the books. Whenever say that I have a conversation with people who don't even know each other, but I realize that they all think the same way about the same thing, then it's on my mind. I'm like, well, why do all these people think this thing? Like this thing is like clearly bad for their life. So then I'll go in and I'm like, you know what? Because I'm thinking about it so much, then I go in to research it, and then that's how a book happens or something. So we're talking about money. And in 2016, like my 401k, like, and like my I had like 2 portfolios. I had my retirement stuff, through my job, and then I had like my own like portfolio that I was doing like since high school. So 2016, I just watched everything go to zero. 2016, like just that was like the craziest thing. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. I was like, what am I gonna do? In 2016, that was what, 7 years ago. So I was what, 21 or something, or 22 or 21. So, but I felt like my entire world was over. like you know what I mean? Like I felt like I was gonna die. Like I honestly felt like I was gonna die. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like I felt like I lost everything. I
It was
mean,
23, man.
23, whatever. Like I'm just. Oh yeah, that's right. I turned 30 in 40. But honestly, like I felt like I never had a panic attack in my entire life. Like I've been in very dangerous situations, and I've never been faced. I've seen like guys with guns or whatever the case is. I've seen I've seen messed up things, but I've never been phased by it. But yet, like money that I'm not physically holding, it turns red, and I felt like I was gonna die. And nothing has ever made me feel that way in my entire life, and I felt that way then. And then obviously like time moves on or whatever. But when I talk to people about money, I realize how much money has a very, very strong hold over them. Like money is a tool, right? Like money can either work for you or work against you. Um, but a lot of people don't see that. Like when you get a loan, but no one teaches you what interest is or interest rate or anything like that. So then you think that you could just keep doing swiping a credit card over and over again. You have a credit card, then you have a car payment, and nobody owns anything. And that's something that I always thought was crazy. Is like when you talk to people, like no one owns their house, no one owns their car, no one. People don't even own their cell phones. I was just like, man, that's just crazy. So if I'm a person that like I own my car, I own my cell phone, and like even though like it's not like I was gonna lose a house or anything, or you know what I mean, like that wasn't gonna destroy my life or how I lived my life, but I still mentally felt like my life was over.
But you know, when the I don't know why you feel that way in that moment, but that's why you don't cherish money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Answer it.
So
So the money, the I do understand that part of it because I went through a scare like that.
yeah.
I'm not gonna go into details, but I
Mhm.
went through a scare like that. I brought in crazy everyone at the same time too
Yeah.
because I was going through a divorce in that same time,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. Yeah.
You know why? It's not that I've ever cherished money, and I've never how I feel about money now in terms of I never understood why I felt like I was gonna die, but I never like loved money. I think money gave me a sense of security because in America, it's not like I have family that I'm like, all right, give me, I'm gonna do this, like I know that if I messed up in life, like I can fall back. It's like I had no choice but to be successful here. You know what I mean? So because I knew that like if I need a loan, like I have to go to a bank. You know what I mean? Like I never had that. I didn't have a safety net for anything. So if my savings, like got destroyed or like my retirement stuff got destroyed, I'm like, man, well, I don't have anybody to run to.
All right, but now back to your book.
Yeah.
It's time for you to start, like, you want people to run into your book. It's time for you to advertise your book. Not for you, for your two kids. And just like how you're passionate about writing it, right?
Yeah.
I want you to be passionate about advertise it too. Every proceed when you get off your book, you put it away for your kids.
Yeah.
And not for you, because you're not passionate about it. But starting now, you're gonna start doing some advertise about it, talk about it, tell people to go buy your story and go get it. And every proceed you get, you leave it for your babies. And just like how you went through that panic attack in 2016, just make sure you set your kids up for them not supposed to go through a panic attack. Maybe they're not gonna snap out of it like how you snap out of it.
Yeah. I agree. I remember, I went, someone said this, they said that they want whatever my ceiling in life is, I want that to be my kid's floor. So the highest thing that I accomplish in life, that will be like the floor to my kids. That's the bottom of life for them. And that the moment that I had kids, it's true. Like life wasn't for me anymore. Life was for them.
Like I'm working this hard for me, for my two girls, not to work hard.
Yeah.
Because they got some expensive taste buds there. So I have to try to match their taste buds somewhere in life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm doing this when I'm working so hard, just for them to not to work this hard like oh daddy work hard. I want them to enjoy life because one of the greatest thing of what happened to me, I left Jamaica and I move here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time for me to work hard for mine. I don't know where they're going to end up in the world. If they want to live here, I want to live somewhere else in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want money to be an issue for them.
Yeah.
So I want to put my time in and go get it. And my oldest one is about to be 12 in like a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to work hard right now. I don't have a choice, because if she tell you her list when she get to 16,
Mm.
you thought she was almost there. If she already have a list. And I still got what, 4 more years, 5 more years before she's 16,
Mm-hmm.
and she already have a list. So
you know, one of the things that, as a parent now, that not my parents never did this to me, but I always saw like it happened to other people, where their parents would always promise them things but never come through.
I never promise my kids them something.
Yeah.
If they ask me for something, I tell them I try.
Yeah. But even not even that, but just like when they say, like, you say that you're off, like you could have like parents that are off, like they're not working today, right? And they're just something simple, like, oh, you're gonna take us to the park, and they're like, no, I'm too tired or something. It's like the things that you can control, and they say no to the things that are free. I never, like, that's something that always bothered me, and so now, like, and I know I'm guilty of this. There are like times where I'm up at like 3 o'clock in the morning because my son doesn't want to go to sleep, and I'm like, you know what? He wants to spend time with me. Okay, I guess we're gonna watch movies together, and and then I'll just go to work in 2 hours. Because I will never. How I look at it is, I'm never gonna get these moments back. It doesn't happen every single night, but there are nights where it does happen, and I don't, like. You know what? I'm not gonna force him to go to sleep. If he wants to just hang out with me, then I'm gonna take this time and hang out with him. There's a reason why he wants to hang out with me. So, I cherish these moments, because I remember when he was crawling, and I remember the first time he said no. I remember when he didn't want to give me a hug, and I'm like, man, he's growing up fast, and he likes spending time with me now. But there's no guarantee that when he's 8, he's gonna want to be friends with me, or be, I'm just some guy. So I want to definitely, keep spending time with him, and being a person of my word.
My kids, my oldest about to be 12, and my youngest, she's gonna be 9 this year, and like every time I have them, they want to have movie night.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it, sometimes I'm tired, and I would just start watching the movie with them, but I have to watch it in my bed. And when I fall asleep, they would say, "Oh, Daddy's sleeping. We got to go. We don't want to wake him up. He have to go to work." So that's one of the greatest things of being a dad, is like, all right, let me ask you this:
Okay.
as a young man growing up in the island,
Mm-hmm.
was your mom and your dad spend the amount of time what you spent with your kids with you, where you could remember?
No. So I'll tell you like a true story. I've only ever seen my mother or my father. I've never seen the two of them in the same country in my entire human existence. I've only seen one or the other.
Wow.
So, like, even for me, so I grew up with my grandma in Jamaica. So, I guess people don't understand, like, to understand this concept, I think Jamaica is probably one of the few places in the world where the person that raised you isn't always someone you're related to or your parents.
Back to my Mother's Day dinner.
Yeah.
Is not have to be a mom.
Yeah.
To celebrate that day.
It's funny. It's such a funny thing. Remembering there's so many people that I never knew until even recently that they were never blood related. Like, never knew.
And in the island, you see that a lot, because people loving people.
Yeah.
There a lot. It's like I can't speak about it now
Yeah, it's
because
definitely different now.
I'm not there now. I only visit. So, but when I was growing up back then, there, it's like your neighbor watch you
Yeah.
while your mom go to work for however long she want to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't say my dad. My dad been in this country for since in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say my dad. So I have to say my mom.
So like to tell you like a true story, my dad is like an international bachelor. So like he travels. He's probably one of the smartest people that I know. But I can't say that I've spent enough time with him to be like, all right, like we're cool. You know what I mean? Like I've he's not like he's not a deadbeat. He's just not a dad. You get what I'm saying? Like for him, like life is party mode. So
Up till now,
up till now, I don't even speak to him actually. You know, I don't. You know, like there's nothing there. I don't hate him. I don't love him. It's just just somebody that exists.
just a person.
He's just a person.
So
I don't have like any feelings towards him. You know, it's you like I said. So my like just to give people understanding. So I've never seen my parents together in the same country in my entire human existence. When I was 2 years old, my mom came to America, but my dad was just still traveling, like all around the world, like doing his thing. I'd see my dad once a year, like growing up from age 2 till 11. I'd see him once a year, and then it'd just be like a 5 minute thing. Like he'd just show up, because my grandmother raised me, and he'd be like, "Hey, how are you doing? Here's money," and then he'd leave. That was it. That was the extent of it. And I spent time with him once in my entire life, where I spent like a week with him. It's like the worst experience of my entire life. Like just the because I got to the age where I had like you get to choose who
where
you
you want
want
to
to be
be with.
with and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for him, it's like I never saw. He's never like a mean person or anything like that, but he was a very competitive person. So it's like,
But that's the same spirit you got, though.
no, of course, I definitely like me and him are the same, but different.
You guys is alpha.
You know,
You guys have the same alpha spirit. So
they're unlike Neo, there can only be one. You know, and for me, I will do anything for any human being. Like if someone truly needs help or whatever, like I will be there for them out. But when it comes to some people will try to control you, like you know what I mean. Instead of like they'll say, hey, I'll be your mentor, but they're not being your mentor. They're just using you. And the only time they feel successful is the fact that they're doing better than you or something like that. But they try to make you feel like you're little bro,
I heard the podcast about that.
right? So once I got to a certain age where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna like have a relationship or like talk to him and whatnot. And that's like him. It's like we couldn't coexist without him having like his ego there. Like that's one thing that I can do very well. I can check my ego at the door. That's the difference between the two of us. And the moment that I realize that anyone is trying to control me or try to manipulate me, and they're not coming to me with a good spirit, then I'm like, all right, you got to go.
So is he living in the state or living back in Jamaica?
Oh, he still live in England. He never lived in America.
Okay.
um, I have no idea. Like I think like a couple years ago, I like looked him up, and he just travels. Like sometimes he's in Egypt, sometimes he's in Germany, England, Jamaica, like wherever. He's never. I don't think that he's happy. I feel like he doesn't have a sense of like home or anything. So he's just trying to find himself.
Maybe you gotta go find him.
I don't think that I'll be the one to find him.
Okay.
You know, I don't think he knows how to tell the truth.
But back to your book.
Okay.
I want you to do advertisement about your book. It's not for you. It's for your two babies.
My two babies.
Yes.
I mean, they have their stuff.
They have their stuff,
You know.
but it's never too much.
No, I agree. I mean, I guess with how everything is going, maybe. Well, so here's the thing. So when it comes to the books thing, I wanted, a lot of times when you read something, you buy a book or whatever, the book is copyright. Anything that I do, it's not copyrighted. If someone wants to use it, I want them to be able to use it and do whatever it is that they want with it. I don't have that sense of attachment to it.
I'm not gonna say nothing more about the book and the recording. So
no. Here's what. Like, I have like my trademark and stuff. Like my trademarks that they're gonna always be mine. But in terms of the content of it, for me, I want some young person to be able to.
You're passionate about something, man. Make it a business.
I think money. I think
It's not about the money.
Here.
It is not about the money. You're getting the concept of a business and just about the money, because it's Oakley. You're not getting up and live for yourself no more, bro.
No, of course. Here's the thing. To me, certain businesses, it's like politics, and people like, one of the things that if you ever ask me, a question about like money, or like how, like, see if you're like, hey, how well is your book doing, or how much money you're making, or whatever the case, I'll tell people the truth. And the truth is, a lot of people pretend, like, even if they have a bestseller, they pretend like they're making all this money and stuff, and they're not. And the cool thing about me is, and like, my buddies, that like whatever we do, like, it's fun, and we could probably get more than like the average person, but that's so hard to do. It's hard, but we can. At least we have the option of, we can do that. Perfect example is like, so a lot of times, so you're the author of this book, you go through this big publishing company, whoever does your illustration, your book cover, they get 15%, and then maybe your book sells 1 million copy, and they're like, all right, here's $10,000 or whatever. You still have to pay taxes with that, and maybe they say that you get royalties, but you're not really like getting money like that unless you're someone really, really, really big. And if you're not known, but you're still super successful, you, first of all, like, okay, for the books, and one of the companies that I have to work through because I'm independent, I mean, they take 65% right off the top. They take 65%, and that's like the best. So they take 65%, right? And then all the people who, I don't owe anyone, I never owe anyone. So if someone does the book cover, I pay for the book cover outright. And I pay for the rights to the book cover too. So I forever own it. Unlike when you go through the company, like a big company or whatever, that person forever owns 15% of your book. So then when they own 15% of your book, all the royalties that you'll get, say that you're going to get 5 cents for every book that they sell, person's going to get 15% of 5 cents forever. The big company is going to get 65% of your book sales forever. And you get whatever is left over, and you still have to pay taxes. So the reason why I would, I make everything free now is the same reason, like how you go and you're like, hey, this is Dre's Island Flavor, here, and here. Here's the main shop. basically the same thing that I do with the books. So it's not about the money. It's by making it free. There's a lot of you want to have your hardcore, fans, right? That know you, and then they're gonna come to you every single Sunday, and then you're gonna have the people who they come every now and then. They're random, but you know that this person's gonna come every Sunday. This person's gonna come every Tuesday, because that either word of mouth um or just the fact that people just drive past where you are every day. The reason, and also it's a kind of like research for me too, because for some reason, all of the books that I've done, the biggest people that consume my books are not Americans. They're always like Europeans or something. Yeah, that's something that I always found fascinating. The amount of people that from the UK, or even countries that don't speak English as their main language, like Denmark, they're the ones that buy my books. So so it's so weird, because when you're paying for advertising, when you know who your crowd is, it's like, okay, cool, you can directly market to them. But it's also a tricky situation for me too, because when you used to sell books before, I don't know what it's like working for like the big companies or whatnot. So say like, and you can relate to this too. So they say that you sell to like some European country, and they have like their currency is worth more than the US currency, right? Before, whatever the difference was, say that one of their dollars was like $5 or something. You'd get that difference. But for some reason, now, even though it's like five of their dollars, you're only getting $5 instead of the conversion rate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what like I was like looking at it, and that like really pissed me off. Because I wasn't seeing the conversion rates. Now if I was selling only in America, then sure, like a dollar is a dollar. But if I'm selling, to Denmark or like someone in Switzerland, then a dollar is not a dollar. So that's disheartening. I'm still gonna do what I'm doing, but now I know who my customers are. So I have two projects that I want to finish before I make that transition. And they're done. It's just getting them out there, and I'm doing the finishing touches to one of them right now, and then I'll do the other one by the end of this year. It'll be done, and then I can be like, all right, now I'm full business mode.
So, for all your projects that you have going on, what do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years? Are you see yourself for the company you're working for? You want to move up to the higher management, or you want to work your way out? What is the plan?
In 5 years, I'm gonna have all of my projects come together into one house. In 5 years,
One umbrella.
one umbrella.
Okay.
So everything feeds into each other. So I'll have like my own marketing engine. So that's why I took the time to learn how to do everything myself. So whether it's podcasting, whether it's publishing books or whatever, it's still obviously also even for the podcast I have it has its own Instagram page and stuff. So I can literally promote my own stuff. So whoever like my following is, if you listen to the podcast, you're gonna know about the books. You know what I mean? And if you're on the Instagram, you're gonna know about everything. So everything is just under one umbrella, constantly marketing itself. So it all feeds into each other. So I don't have to. Control is very important to me. Like having full creative control over everything is important to me, and I like that I do have control, like right now, about 85% control, but I want 100% control over everything. Because if someone else gets a say, you'll never really be at your best. Like if I were to come in and be like, no, Dre, don't use that seasoning, man. I want you to use barbecue sauce. It's like, who am I to tell you to put barbecue sauce on something? It's your creation.
But 100% owner, you don't, no, sorry, 85% owner, you still own a lot of the percentage.
Yes. But maybe sometimes you don't own the most important parts of that 85%.
And the most important part right now is the publishing part.
Yeah. Well, which that I can do all day, but it's like, for say that, everything that goes out, and you're like, man, like, you know, it's going out, but then I did this agreement and I can't sell it to this country. I can only sell it to this country, or I can only sell it for 3 months here and then 3 months there. It's like, you still, you know what I mean? Like, you're still pumping things out, but it's not the way that you want because someone else is dictating that. Or if they have like certain promotions going on, now you're at the mercy of that because you don't own distribution. Like one of the craziest contracts that I read, because I read the contracts, and basically when you go through the contract, it says if we have a promotion, you're automatically part of the promotion because we distribute, and as long as you have your stuff here, we could basically do whatever we want with it. And so imagine if you have a book and you say that your book is $10, and they're like, all right, it's a promotion, it's free. So because your book is free, every book that they sell, sure, you'll get the bestseller's title, but how much money do you make? What if you sold 50,000 copies? Well, 50,000, times 10, you're not getting that because it was free. And you have to look at that, and realize that that's the thing that you're a part of, because the other option is much worse than that. So I'm working my way out of that to be able to just be completely.
But you know the best part of your business. So for me, asking you that is just, I'm just trying to figure out where you're headed. But you said you want to have everything on one umbrella in the next 5 years. That's a great way to look at it, because for us who in the restaurant industry or in the catering industry, we talk about merch and or barbecue sauce or jerk sauce or seasoning, all of those things, aprons, your shirt. You want to have all those merch, and it's not easy to just be coming up and you don't have the money to go get all those merch and
Yeah.
sell them the way you want to sell them.
So in truth, I do like some consulting stuff on the side, and
You got your head in every different department, man.
yeah, it's like, because one of the things, the moment that this is what one of the things that I believe in 100% in my life. I never needed money from anyone. Like, everybody has a different thing they need from someone. Some people, they have the drive, so they just need you to be there for them. You know what I mean? Not financially, but just be there for them. I'm like, I'll make my book, but just help me carry this stack of books up these stairs or something. You know what I mean? Like, everyone needs something different in their business. Because what if you're the person that has $1 million, so you can start your business yourself and you can buy your own merch, but at the end of the day, you still can't do everything yourself. Once you scale to a certain point, you do need, whether people working for you or you need a support system in a sense, And that's, to me, is the hardest part, is when you don't have that support system, and the people around you don't realize that by you winning, they're winning too automatically, because you automatically are going to bring them into the fold. So if you're making money, they're obviously making money too, but no one ever sees it that way.
This business life, though, when you're not a millionaire, you're not making 6 figures a year time, it's a tough road for you to travel, because you're making what you're making at your 9 to 5. You still have to put into your business,
Of course,
for your business to scale up to the 6 figure, up to the 7, 8 figures. And a lot of times you got to close your eyes and do not get these things because you want that thing later on
Exactly.
in life. And a lot of time, like, I don't go out because I want to, if I'm going to go out, like, for example, if we go into a nightclub, if you go there to go buy a bottle of Hennessy, a bottle of Hennessy is like two something. If you go to Sam's Club to go buy the same Hennessy, you pay $40 for it.
Yeah.
But look at the big percentage of marking up. That's like 1,000% markup.
Yeah, convenience.
So that's why that's one of them what I don't try to go out that much anymore because I don't try to live this life anymore.
Yeah. I always tell people I'm a pretty boring guy. I'm not boring. I just say that because I'm not doing the same things that other people are doing. Like I still love traveling. I still love all those things. But when it comes to partying, I knew that partying wasn't for me at a very young age.
I do it a lot.
Like I could party
back then.
like I could party hard. Like especially in college, if I wanted, I could party really hard because I've been to. So I worked full time and I went to school full time at the same time. So there were times where like I would, had finals, everyone parties during finals. Then I would have to leave there, shower and go straight to work afterwards, and then have class, the day after or whatever. But it was just one of those things where like after I partied for like after the fifth time, I was like everything just seemed like the same to me.
It's the same.
And that's why I didn't like it, because it was fun the first few times because it was a new experience.
And after a while, you get old.
Yeah, because I turned 21 on a college trip, and I wasn't gonna let anybody know. Like everyone was like, "It's your birthday," and then they like took me. I think I was in probably North Carolina. It was either North Carolina or South Carolina for that one, because like we went to Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and I went to like every club, like, and everybody like just their goal was just to get me drunk.
Okay, so you never get drunk?
I didn't get drunk. No.
In your whole life, you never get drunk?
I have. I've gotten drunk at home, but I've never been drunk in public.
I never got drunk.
You said drunk or drug?
Drunk.
Oh.
I never got drunk in my life. Like it's something when I'm drinking liquor,
Mm-hmm.
and when I get to that buzz, and it's supposed to go over,
Mm-hmm.
my body reject it.
Yeah.
It's not going down.
Mm-hmm.
So I never get drunk. I just get the buzz, and that's it.
No, like here's the time I got drunk. I got absolutely plastered at my home, like with my family, because I never when you go out. Usually, if you drink, maybe you drink like beer, or like say if you drink beer, a lot of people just drink beer, like when they go out, right? Then you have like the person that does like tequila and beer, and then you have like the person that just does rum and coke, or the person that just does straight shots like the entire time. So I never, experimented and was like, all right, I'm going to do beer and liquor or something. I would just
stick to one.
If I had a beer, so I've always hated beer. So if I had a beer and I went out and I would only have one beer. If that was the first thing I drank, it would be one beer and then water, and then that's it. Like nothing else.
So how you get plastered at home?
So I'm getting to that. So I realized that when you have certain friends that are from certain countries, you don't realize how much like you're drinking. Like you have like Jamaican friends or whatever. Every time you go to their house, it becomes a party. And you're like, you're off today and they're off tomorrow, and like you guys are both off, and then you guys, next thing you know, it's like 2 a.m. and you've been drinking
from 9.
Exactly. So like that's happened to me. Like I've never been drunk in public, but my personal like house, I've been drunk like 4 times. Like we're drunk to the point where I'm like, yep, that's it, I'm done for the day. because I had a friend from Aruba, and I just didn't realize that we were drinking because we're just talking, having a good time, and you just don't realize that you're drinking like it's water. Then my friend from Scotland, it's like the same thing. It's like there's just the culture of drinking, and because I'm home, I'm not paying attention like I would if I was in public. And I'm like, all right, I got to drive or whatever the case is, but I'm home. I'm off the next day, and I'm just going. And then I'm like, man, I guess I'm just gonna sleep the entire day, and that's what happened. Like we both passed out on the couch. Just
That is my body just rejected when I try
yeah.
I try to get messed up,
Mm-hmm.
and when I get to that, it's like nothing else could go down and just coming back up,
Yeah.
and I force it and go like you just throw it away.
Yeah.
So I never get, and I don't think I will ever get to that level anymore.
Yeah.
Too old now.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me too. Like I said, after my fifth time of going to a club, everything was the same. Like the experience, it's like you may be different faces, but it's the same game.
It like when I go to the club now, I go to the club just to listen to some music,
Mm-hmm.
some mix, because it is a mix.
Mm-hmm.
I just listen to the live mix and then I go back home.
You know, that's actually funny that you said that, because that's one of the things. Like when I went, I was like, man, maybe I'm getting old because the music's too loud. I can't have a conversation. I have to talk. Like I'm shouting just to have a conversation, and that was just too much for me.
And now you say that, back to my restaurant now.
Uh-huh.
That's what driving me to get a upscale restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you notice, when you go to all the Jamaican restaurant, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Loud music. You can't hear people. You're ordering your food, and the music that they're playing is so loud.
You have to shout to order your food. Yeah.
And that's what turned me off from. That's why I say I don't. Because if I leave and I could go to a restaurant like that,
mm-hmm.
I could do that any day. But that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I want to wine and dine. I want you to come in there, pick your wine, what you want to drink, your wife.
I think the reason why I don't have, like certain places that I go to consistently because of like service or the experience. Everything is about an experience, right? So, if it's my day off, because, I work long hours and stuff, I want to enjoy like what I eat, and I want to enjoy the person that's, like whoever made the food or whatever the case is. I want to be able to enjoy that. So it's very difficult for me when I go somewhere and I can't even talk to the person that's serving the food, because they're like, they don't care about you. You know what I mean? They're like, so what if you leave? They don't care. There's there's two restaurants. I'm not going to say their name here. And one of them I'll never go to because of bad service. And the other one I would go to, there's like some, you have like the
I know you love your Chick-fil-A, man. I know you love that.
Of course I love Chick-fil-A. But what I'm saying is it's about Jamaica. You have like you have the Jamaicans that like, they're business owners, but they're not afraid to not be nice. They're just not nice. It's like they know, because of where their location is. They have such a high volume of customers. They don't care about how they treat their customers, because they know that people are going to come there simply because of their location.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always a tough thing to do. If you were to be like, hey, the rice wasn't cooked well, they
basically it's a manicure.
Yeah. I was gonna say something else, but I wasn't gonna curse just in case my grandmother hears the podcast. But yeah, so I never like there was this, the other one. Every time you go there, this guy, he consistently has gotten my food wrong, because if he's on the phone, like he's talking to his friends and it's his father's business or whatever, if he's talking to someone, he's just like, yeah. And then he's like, pointing like at the menu. He's like point at what you want, but he doesn't physically like talk to you. say, hey, how's it going? Or what would you like today? Or whatever. He's like, no, he just points at the menu to tell him because he's too important to not do his job.
You know, one thing about when I get my business going, that's one thing I'm gonna really strict on is customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the kings and queens walk into the door, they are paying me and they're paying you.
Yes.
So we both have to take care of these customers when they walk through the door. And I know sometimes things gonna happen. You're gonna have our moment. But if you're having a bad day, I want you to come to me and say, look, I'm having a bad day. Can I work? If I work the front end, can I just work the back end tonight?
Mm-hmm.
And something like that.
Yeah.
Or can I go home and make up my shift a different day? Or something. But talk to me. I would not want you to be in a bad position where I
Mm-hmm.
have to let you go because of your customer service, because I will decide if I have to let you go because of your bad customer service, because the kings and queens when they walk through that door, they have to get treated as a kings and queens.
Yeah.
And just like when I go out there to go do anybody wedding, if I go there to go drop a food off, I'm treat that food like they're paying me to set up and break down.
Yeah.
Because when I walk in with that food, that's my baby I'm walking in with.
Yeah.
So I treat it like exactly what I feel. It is my baby, so I'm treating it like my baby.
Mm-hmm.
So customer service, it's a plus. It's not a possibility or, oh, let's just sell this one because we want to make the money. It is not about that. And I rather throw away a plate than give you a bad plate.
Yeah.
I rather do that, because if you not happy with it, you're not coming back.
Exactly.
And every time you walk through that door, I want you to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a thing that says that, for every one thing that you do right, business wise, not many people will talk about it. But for every the one thing that you do wrong, everyone knows.
Yes.
Because of Instagram, because people don't post positive things like, oh, I went there and there, like that's few and far between. But have a bad experience, everybody knows about it.
Yes, and social media right now is one of the greatest things and it's one of the worst things.
Yes.
The greatest thing, it's not really free advertising about it, because right now they shadow banning your stuff.
Yeah.
They do that because, for example, when I just started doing my reels used to get into the thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Now when I do a reel, it barely get to 100 watch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not doing nothing different than what I was doing back then.
So speaking of which, so I was looking at something recently, and one of the things about using social media, or even like working online, is how do you know if they're being honest? Because it's not yours. You know what I mean?
They're not, because like Facebook and Instagram, they shadow ban you a lot.
Yeah.
And okay, example, I post a video on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
right? I only got 300 people watch it. Okay, I take the same video, I post it on Facebook, I got 4,000 people watching it, the same video.
Yeah.
Right? And technically it's the same platform.
Yeah.
So they shadow banning me on Instagram. And guess I use the same hashtag. Everything I use the same wording, the same hashtag, the same everything. But when I take it to a different platform, I got more views.
Right. So here's a funny story. So, and I won't use their name, but whenever it was time for me to receive, a check from like book sales or whatever, you'd go like, so publish something and you'd look and you're like, man, like those numbers are good, right? And you're like, oh, if everything keeps up like it is, like sometimes it's just too crazy that like, what are the odds that every day you sell 5 books? Like, why isn't it 30 books, or you know what I mean, or 100 books, or like, why is it that this day you sold 100 books, and like everything's just like boom, 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 it's like the same. And then out of nowhere, it's like there's a reasonable amount of time before something just naturally falls off, right? But then you're like, how did this just fall off like just like that? And then you realize, okay, it falls off right before you're supposed to get paid. And then after you get paid, it'll go back up just naturally. Just, you're not marketing or anything. It just goes up. Boom, boom, boom. Like your sales are going up again. And then when it's time for you to get paid, your sales just go down.
because it is the company doing it.
Yeah. I'm like...
Because when it's time for them to get paid, they work. It's just like, for me, I want to go get I'm going to hire a sales company to get me more business. And I know, for me, I'm not going to hire them on to say, I'm going to pay you this percentage every month. Is every sales you bring, you're going to get your percentage.
Yeah.
So the minute you said you're going to give them 5% a month, but 5% of what?
Exactly, because you have to be specific. If you do 5% a month, that means you're giving away money. There's no incentive for them to really do anything because you're just paying them 5%.
Yes.
So you have to be like, hey, every sale that every person that you bring along or you give me, yeah, you get 5% of that sale. So hustle.
So
treat it like real estate.
That's what I'm going to do. And I don't know if no one know any good sales company out there, because I'm looking one. I don't spend no time looking yet. I just barely do a research and few, and then I just stop, because I'm focusing on this to get to knock this out the park. What I'm doing in May, I want to get that out the park, because I want to make this thing one of the best thing happen in Central Florida in 2023. And so I'm spending a lot of time on that.
But that's your other baby.
That's after that, it's full thing to just market my business and get it going, because I don't know if you haven't had my food since I put all the twists on it.
Yeah, I haven't had the twist.
It's a lot of different twists on it, and to me, it's like, when I taste it now, I go like, what I was waiting on to do this.
Yeah.
That's what got me like, what, bro? What you was waiting on to do something like this?
It's funny because I never, anything that I do, it's because I like it. Like, that's just how I am in terms of like what I will choose to look into or even talk about. I've just always been that way. Like, I'm not gonna ever fake talk about something. Like, like whether it's food or people, it's just, if I don't like something, my brain just erases it. It doesn't exist. And you and one other person are the only two people, food-wise, that I've ever actually followed. Like, it just and it's because it caught my interest. Because the first thing that caught my interest was when we talked about it before. You even did the logo, and you said, Dre's Island, Flava and stuff. I was like, man, that's nice, and at the same time, Flava Flav was a thing too. So I was like, this is, like, it's not the stereotypical play, like place where, like, in terms of like a name, where like a name puts something in your head always, right? Like, your name, your trademark is very, very, very powerful. When you see an Apple sign, you're like, man, iPhone or whatever, iHome, whatever the case is. But when you say Dre's Island Flava, that's just you. You know what I mean? Like, that's you. There's one you. You're the only you. Mm-hmm. That's what got me. That was like the first thing that got me is that uniqueness of it's you. Like you are your business. Whoever the CEO of Apple is, they're not Apple, but
Mm-mm.
you are. You know what I mean? Like it's you. So that was something that I found interesting. And then when I would see your stuff on Facebook and see it on Instagram, I was like, man, I was like, I wonder how much this is, or maybe I should, just have them cook for me, so I don't have to cook anymore. Um,
All right. I'm showing you my bio, right?
mhm.
And I want you to like just glance over it and just recap a sentence out of it. And I'm telling you, it's like my bio, it is the way I am with my business. And it tell everything about me and my business.
I'll read the first paragraph about Chef Dre. Chef Andre came from humble beginnings, being raised in a small town in Jamaica by a single working mother. As a young boy, he spent countless hours in his grandmother's kitchen watching her cook savory Jamaican dishes for the family to enjoy. His grandmother helped him with her would have him help her with her chores around the kitchen and would show him how to make some of her family favorites. He soon developed a love for cooking around with spices used in marinating various foods. So like you said at the beginning of like that's true because that's your thing is that you got your love of cooking
From my
from
grandma.
your grandmother and that's what's
And
in there.
and it's like it is like my whole bio is start from a young man, then another chapter of my life, because he talk about when I move here, but he didn't tell it how long. Then he talk about my kids at the end of it, and that's my whole life right there. And I'm telling you, it's like Chef Andre has has what the my bio said. It's an enjoyment to see something what you think about come to life.
Yes.
And then this is my introduction for my website now. It's all the different ones.
I love it. Welcome to Dre's Island Flavor, where we serve only the best quality food using fresh ingredients and spices without MSG. I like says, come and experience the flavor your taste buds have been missing at Dre's Island Flavor, the home of the best island cuisine in Orlando. I dig it. I dig it.
You know, somebody asked me today when I showed them this, and they said, "What is MSG?" And it is crazy. It's like a lot of us eat and we do not know,
Mhm.
like MSG is not even good for us.
Mhm.
And I use an example of a season what we use in Jamaica, like when we're cooking soup.
Mhm.
I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, the Maggie or
No, I can't remember the name. It starts with an A. It's not adobo, but it's something over there. It looked like salt.
okay.
I can't remember the full name about it. And when I describe it to him, he go like, "Oh, it tastes so good though." I said, "That's the reason why,
Yeah.
because it's full of MSG, and MSG is not really good for your body." So, and what we do at Jerry's Island Flavor though, because it's crazy. My other chef, his name is Andre too. So it's crazy. And I know him for over 23 years. From I moved to the state, I met him. So we've been friends from ever since. But what we do though, it's serving you guys as a guest. It's all about good quality, and that's all I think about is good quality food, good quality meat, good quality food, make it taste buzz. They say it all.
You know that. So for me, like I'm biased. So I love my grandmother. My grandmother's probably my best friend in the entire world, right? The fact that you put your grandma in your bio, yeah, that's like the selling point for me. That's
Hey, I have a client leave a testimony
mhm.
on my page, on my business page. It is crazy. And I'm not even gonna make it up. I'm gonna show you what she said.
Yes.
It's running. But it's coming up. Her name is Lydia. Lydia is coming up.
Okay, see it. Oxtail is my favorite food.
And my mom, she said oxtail is my favorite food, and my mom cooked oxtail, but Dre's oxtail
It's
is
better.
better. Sorry, mom. Yo, how better can you get that?
Exactly. Because she has to see her mom.
Yeah. And she said, I'm sorry, mom,
Yeah.
but Dre's one is better.
Yeah.
So you got clients like this leaving testimony on your page for other customer to see it. It's mind blowing, man. That means I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
And these are what drive me for me to cook, to serve the people. And I want to move Orlando with my heart of cooking. I want to serve, I want to touch multiple different cultures in my. But when it comes to Dre's Island flavor, you don't know what you're gonna get. You could get a little Chinese, could get a little bit of Jamaican, or maybe in the next future could have some Mexican there.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. And work on some sushi. You just never know what the future gonna bring, but it's not gonna stick to my culture, Jamaica only. Jamaica is a heart, but that's why it said Dre's Island flavor. It's all over. I should say Dre's Island, Dre's worldwide flavor. Because you never know what you're gonna get from the world there, and that is what I want to do. And a lot of people gonna ask, like, where can you find me and all of that. You could go to Dre's www.dresislandflavor.com. My Instagram is Dre's Island Flavor. Dre's Island Flavor at Instagram, and my Facebook is Dre's Island Flavor. So I'm on TikTok, Dre's Island Flavor.
Flavor with, let them know it's not flavor and it's actually flavor. Yes.
So is L is F.
Remember, it's 2:00 in the morning right now.
Is FLAVA.
Yep.
So it is not flavor.
It's flavor.
You got to pronounce it like the island.
Exactly.
So,
Dre, 1,000,000%. Thank you for being a part of the podcast. It definitely means a lot, you being on here. You're the first entrepreneur person to be on here, and everyone else is, friends. You're my friend, but friends that are not, they work for someone else, but not working for themselves. And one of the things, when, we were talking about you coming on the podcast, I had the idea. I was like, you know what? All of my friends that own their own businesses, I'm going to have them on the podcast, because maybe there's a bunch of people that want to know more about cooking and stuff, and maybe they could reach out to you, to learn more, or whatever the case is.
And in the future, I'm going to do like cooking classes.
Yeah, couples cooking classes, dude. Those are cool.
Yeah, I'm going to do like couple cooking class. I'm going to do single cooking class, and I just want to get like an event space for myself. Cause that's one of the things I'm going to work on, to get a event space, and then I could have cooking class like every first Friday or every last Friday. But I'm gonna I already have that part in it, and I don't have the building yet. But because a lot of people don't know how unique Jamaica flavor is, and my goal is to put it on most people table in Central Florida. And it's all about I don't cook just Jamaican food, I cook every culture food.
Mm-hmm.
But the taste what you're gonna get is from Jamaica.
Yeah.
And
Italian with a twist.
and it's crazy to ask me how do I do it. I can't tell it. It's just I just sit there, it came run across my mind, and I go put it. I got plenty different. I have Italian dish.
Mm-hmm.
I have a jerk chicken pasta. I have a shrimp jerk chicken pasta.
Mm-hmm.
And pasta is not from my country. So then I also have a jerk fried rice.
Yeah.
I have a sweet and sour chicken. Like, then I also have chicken tenders. So it's a lot of different flavor I put together to get where I am. And you know, when we was running the joke, said, "Oh, I'm going to be on your podcast."
Uh-huh.
At first, it was a joke, and I go like, "Man!" And then you said, "Yo, I'm for real." Then you text me and said, "Yo, I'm for real about this." I go like, "Oh crap, I'm real." Is a joke going to be reality?
Yeah.
But I do enjoy being here with you, though, and it's a pleasure to do this with you, and I'm looking forward to do more. And hopefully, after my event, we could talk about it and ask me what do I learn and what do I should do different for my next event.
Mm-hmm.
And because this is just the first thing of a Mother's Day thing, it's coming back next year again.
I mean, you could also do a 4th of July thing too. Just hear me out, right? You could do a 4th of July thing, but it's because barbecue is big in America. It could just be jerk, 4th of July.
No, I'm planning to do a Valentine's Day dinner.
I know, but the year isn't over yet. 4th of July. I'm saying Mother's Day.
So you
4th of July.
Oh, so you want me to drop a 4th of July event in? I'd have to rent out a park.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And get different vendors them to come out.
Yeah, because the thing is, with the major holidays, there's always a lot of people. Like in certain things, just grab people. Like if it's 4th of July, everyone's grilling. People just naturally just like want things on grill.
All right, Oakley, we could work on that.
I'll take pictures and put it on my Instagram.
Okay.
All right.
We'll work on that.
Once again, thank you for being a part of the Magnificent Ones podcast. We definitely had a great time. I wasn't expecting the podcast to go this long, but I'm happy that it did. So thank you, Chef Dre, for being a part of it. You have any final remarks you want to make? Like, what do you want to tell the folks at home?
Thank you to invite me, and I appreciate you reaching out to me for me to do this tonight. Because when you said it to me today, I go like, huh? Like, you for real? In the next couple hours?
Yeah.
But I'm happy to be here with you guys and enjoy it. And hopefully we could do more after this one. And don't forget to come to my event on May 12th. Don't forget that. It is it's on
a Friday.
It is on a Friday.
Yeah, no, I know. That's a good thing.
It's on a Friday, and it's also a great way to celebrate your mom, celebrate that person you call a mom. So it's a great look. And when you buy that ticket, you never know, you could win that trip to Jamaica. And that trip is on me. And if you want to go with me, we could go together.
I don't know if my wife will allow that. All right.